Good morning. My name is Amy Collins, and this is Free Advice Friday. Carrie Barnum and I are both here. We're starting to switch off and swap weeks just about every other week, but we are here at 10 a.m. Eastern every Friday to answer as many questions as we can. Those of you who are joining me live on Zoom, your questions get preferential treatment. So anyone who wants to get their questions answered, I answer one question at a time. I just run through in order. And if you would like to get your questions answered, please go to amysadvice.com, amysadvice.com, and there's a link there that will let you watch old editions on my YouTube channel. You can watch old editions right there on my website. But what it also does, amysadvice.com will also give you an opportunity to join me here live on Zoom and for us to get your questions answered. All right. Good to see you, Michael, Alexander, David. Michael, I need you to drop your questions in the Q&A. Very funny, Alexander. Yes, I will add extra time at the end of the hour. We will go a little late today because you guys are being so patient. Want to remind you to join me down at Free Advice Friday, right at the bottom. But to go to the Q&A and drop your questions in, and I will be happy to answer them all. All right. So let's go to the first question, which is from David. A number of you also emailed me, and I love that. I wanted to let you know that those of you who emailed me questions this week, there were 4 questions emailed this week. Ellie, Carolyn, Frank, Larry, got a bunch of questions in. I will answer those as well. Absolutely no problem. Happy to do it. All right, so drop your questions in the Q&A and let's get started. All right. David says, a few weeks ago, I spoke about K-Book promotions, and he's looking to get more book reviews, but the pricing guidelines prohibit him from using K-Book promotions. The one book that he's targeting is priced at $3.99, and K-Book promotions will only work with you if your book is $2.99 or less. Consequently, I have another book that's priced on the higher end of the spectrum. Okay, David, you can still use K-Book promotions, but you don't have to. There's also dog ear book promotion. Dog ear book promotion. You can check them out as well. Dog ear is just as good, if not better. They're great. But here's the thing about K-Book promotions. If you drop them an email, and it says this on their website, but it's down near the bottom, so I'm not surprised you missed it. I missed it too the first time. If you go down to the bottom and you tell them that your book is $3.99, $5.99, $9.99, and you send them an email, they will send you a specially priced program. Now, it is not that much more expensive. It's it's not a lot. It's a couple bucks more. The reason why is that, they actually ask their reviewers to buy the books. So if they're asking their reviewers to buy the books, they need to compensate the reviewers not for writing a review, but they simply are telling the reviewers that they can get the $3.99 or the $5.99 or the $9.99 to buy the book. They are not paying them for a review. They're not compensating them. This is completely above board. But you can still use K-Book promotions while your book is priced higher than $2.99. Or go to Dog Ear. Dog Ear, there's Dog Ear Books, which is a self-publishing company, but Dog Ear Book Promotion, which is something different, is a wonderful Amazon review campaign. All right, Michael, thank you for dropping your question into the Q&A. Let's see what Michael's asking. His problem in retirement, okay, I have a problem with that, Michael. If you're retired, I'm so jealous. His problem in retirement is finding an agent. My marketing representative. An agent, or that's two separate things. I'm now a writer and a retired crisis manager, which are production and administration, and he needs marketing. Michael, I want you to go to the chat box or the Q&A and answer this question. I will answer your questions happily. Are you looking for an agent so that you can get published by a traditional publishing house? Are you looking to find an agent who will take 15 or 20% of whatever deal they get for you, and they will match make you with a publisher so that you can get published? Or are you looking for a marketing agent, somebody whom you hire to market and promote your book, which is either already out or coming out? I'm happy to answer your question. I'll answer them both, but I'm not quite sure what you're asking for. Jean is saying she can't understand why her Amazon book sales dropped so much this quarter. Are they not filling print book orders? No, Jean, actually, and Amazon has made reports about this, and they've actually stated this outright. Books are not a top priority for right now, and they haven't been since early March. Since about the 10th or 11th of March, Amazon has been prioritizing household goods, cleaning equipment, safety equipment, things that they're prioritizing. If Amazon is actually printing and fulfilling your print books, they are down the level. They're down the line of priorities for them, and they are not shipping. The other reason why your book sales may be down is people are scared to death right now. They're holding on to their money. I don't know about you guys, but my office shut down March 20th or so. Now we're going to be fine. We're doing just fine. New Shelves is in great shape, but we're not actually working at the moment. These Free Advice Fridays are something I'm just doing to keep things going, and I'm doing all the work for our existing clients. But there are a number of people out there who are in the same position I'm at. We can't get to our offices. We don't know what the future holds. And so they're not buying as many books. I will tell you, though, that ebooks, Kindle Unlimited reads, and ebooks are going up dramatically, especially people who are downloading from libraries. So Jean, if your book is in libraries, especially as an ebook or an audiobook, you're in great shape. For those of you who are listening, if your book is not in libraries right now as an ebook or an audiobook, the libraries, they can't get you in time. I want you to absolutely work to get your book into libraries as an ebook and as an audiobook, but it's not going to happen this week. Things are they're slowing. They're taking time. I'm actually teaching a webinar. Jane Friedman is hosting me on May 15th. If you go to janefriedman.com, she's got a webinar she's hosting me on next week, where I'm actually going to be talking about the new way to get a hold of libraries with everything that's going on. But in the meantime, Jean, people are also, they're not reading more, they're reading less. And I don't have any studies to point to this, but I've been out there, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm paying attention to the discussions online, and I'm talking to a lot of people every week. And more people are saying that as the stress rolls on and staying in place and self-distancing in all social situations, as this wears on, people are having less and less ability to focus and to read high quality new books. More and more people are reverting to old favorites. They're rereading books they've read before. They're reading lighter literature, a lot of YA. YA is selling like crazy right now, lighter literature. So depending on your book, if you have a very heavy treatise on something or a big depressing memoir on some particular topic, that may not be what is appealing to people right now. So that's a very long answer to a short question. Jean, it could be that Amazon is not shipping your print books. It could be that fewer people are ordering print books because they're scared of the economy. And it could be that your book is a topic that they're not particularly buying right now, but things will turn around. Focus on ebooks. Use this time to get your audiobooks up and running. And you'll be in great shape. All right. I hope that answered your question. Good morning, everyone. Bob Eckstein, how are you? Good morning, Bob. Bob, as you guys know, he is a dear friend and a relatively new friend, but one that I'm very fond of. And he is the author of, the Snowman book, but the, Everyone's a Critic. His most recent book is a whole series of cartoons and humorous illustrations. It's an overview. You guys should check out Everyone's a Critic. But Bob is a traditionally published author. He's written books with gorgeous illustrations that highlight independent bookstores. He has co-written books. He's got the books. It's more than one book with his Everyone's a Critic. That is the second one in the series where he's pointing out New Yorker and other cartoons that have done very well and that are really impressing people. But Bob is saying the key word now is to pivot. Bob is selling far fewer physical books, but he's doing a lot more remote teaching. He's getting a lot more requests for consulting. And again, Bob Eckstein he's a giant in our industry. And for those of us who are not our careers aren't as well developed as his, pay attention to what he's doing. He's selling far fewer books, and he's published by some pretty big houses. He's got a big agent. He's got a whole career behind him. He's connected to all sorts of New York and high level publications. And if he's selling fewer books, I promise we can sell fewer books. Let's go back to Michael's question. Michael was the one who said he was looking for an agent, but and I asked him to clarify, he's jotted it down that he self-produced a nonfiction book that's on Amazon, but he's writing a series, 6 novels, through Page Publishing. He's now on number 3, so he's looking for an agent. Okay, Michael, if you're looking for an agent, stop publishing your series through vanity presses like Page. That's not going to help. If you've got a couple of books out, keep writing them, but stop publishing them. Having 1 or 2 books out in a series is great, but if you're looking for an agent, there's a couple of websites I'm going to recommend that you go to. The first one is Writer's Digest. Make sure you have a subscription to Writer's Digest. Go to their website, read their blog, sign up for their free newsletter. They have more advice, good advice, about how to get an agent than anyone I know. But another site you need to pay attention to is agentquery.com. Let me drop these into the chat box because I want you guys to pay attention to these newsletters. Let's see. writersdigest.com and agentquery.com. How to get an agent is a very big question, and I'm afraid it would take me hours to get into it here. But you need to have a query package. You need to have, if you're writing a series, it's fabulous that you're working on number 3. Having at least 3 books written and in the kitty, terrific. Because agents and publishers are going to want to know that you can keep churning the books out. So the questions you need to ask yourself are, who reads my books? I mean, do the research. Pay attention to whose books are like yours. And what sort of deals are they getting? You can find this out by going to publisherslunch.com. If you go to publisherslunch.com, you can sign up for a membership there as well. They have, I believe, weekly, but sometimes, no, they have daily updates, but weekly reports that will tell you about books that got deals and whether or not they were a good deal or a fair deal or a very good deal or an extraordinary deal. They don't give you numbers, but they tell you, they give you a hint how much money changed hands. And you go to publishersmarketplace.com. Let me drop that into the chat box. I can't wait till we're back open and I can have one of my associates typing these in. So what you're going to do is you go to Publisher Marketplace and pay attention to the other books like yours and see who got a deal. Find out who their agent is. And then go to agentquery.com and see, or go to that agent's website and see if they're open to new queries. How to write a query, that's a whole, there's classes, go check out. Linda is reminding me that Jane Friedman has a good article about finding an agent. Go to her website to find it. So let me jot her website down in here for Michael and whomever else. Jane, if you go to my website, newshelves.com, and click on the tab People We Like, Jane's website is right on top. I adore her. I get nothing for recommending her. She just offers the most amazing content on her site. Thank you, Linda, for reminding me of that. Alexander is also saying that he recommends Jane's post on agent query letters. Guys, there you go. I had Jane here on Free Advice Friday about 2 months ago in March, I believe. May have been late February. And if you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Amy Collins, you can rewatch her whole Free Advice Friday with us. But she's doing great. Bob, thank you, everyone. Let's see. Caroline is asking, how do you convert PDF files to EPUB for sale? Caroline, I don't. I absolutely don't, and I would not recommend you do it either. I hire someone to do it. I know there's software out there. I don't know what it is, but there's software out there that will allow you to turn your book into an EPUB, into a Mobi. But for a few cents a page, for $30, $40, you can get a number of highly technical, proficient people who know exactly how to do the coding. They can index it properly. The links all work, and you don't need to worry about it. I'm going to drop into the chat box the email of soumi.goswami.pub@gmail.com. Soumi, let me spell Gmail correctly. Soumi is one of the people I use for ebook promotion. She and her husband Amit both do great work. I would highly recommend. Linda is saying that she's used Soumi and she's wonderful. Thank you. You guys have heard me talk about Soumi before. Again, I don't get anything for recommending her. I don't get any discounts. I don't get any love. I've never spoken to the woman, but I've been using her for years. She works and lives in India. I email her. A day and a half later, I get the files back. I pay her on PayPal. She charges me $30, $40. It's fabulous. David is seconding that you need to get a professional, guys. If you don't like Soumi, I also use Sundar at Medlar Publishing. Sundar at Medlar Publishing, and it's medlar.in is his website. He is fantastic as well. All right. Let's see. I'm going to go, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to put on my old lady glasses for a moment. And I'm going to answer a few questions that had been emailed to me this week. All right. Ellie, I hope you're on. Let's see here. Ellie is hoping I can answer a question about draft to digital in Friday's Free Advice. I can. She's never used draft to digital. Now, I guys want to remind you, it's draft and the number 2 digital if you're looking for it. Draft2digital.com is one of the platforms I highly recommend to get your ebook out into the marketplace. It was suggested that she turn her blog into an e-guidebook and sell for 99 cents or so. I love that idea. Ellie, your blog is fantastic. This is a good idea. She blogs about community outreach, volunteering. In times past, she offered a PDF guide with resources as a freebie to get people to subscribe to her newsletter. But she's updated it. She wants to add it to her older but still relevant broad blog posts and create an ebook. So far, Ellie, fantastic plan. Let's see what her questions are. In watching the tutorials for Draft to Digital, she's questioning how much control she has in the front matter. She understands that it generates a table of contents. Ideally, she wants the table of, okay, so here you go. Ellie is saying that if she uses the Draft to Digital converter, she doesn't have a lot of control as to how the table of contents works or how the links work. The copyright page is nothing, she can't get in and change it. So let's start with, Ellie, you need to go to Soumi. It's not going to cost you a lot, $30, $40, unless it's an 800-page book, in which case it'll cost you $80. It's roughly about a penny for every 10 pages or so. It's not bad. Please have someone create this ebook for you. Make sure you get your cover done. Go to a cover design template site. If you don't have the money to hire a cover designer, don't do it yourself. I love Canva. I love BookBrush. Go there. Do this right. I know you've got the skills, but don't use Draft to Digital's converter. Please use a converter to do a service provider like Soumi or Sundar to do it for you. Number 2, she's got content written to convey. She wants to know if it's okay to share. No part may be reproduced. She's titled it Permissions, Notice, and Information Sharing. No, Ellie, your copyright page, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I can't comment whether or not it's appropriate, but that is not a separate section. You need a couple of lines saying no part of this book may be reproduced or shared in any way, shape, or form without express written permission from the publisher. Done. That has to be on your copyright page. The links will be clickable if you make them clickable. So don't use Draft to Digital. Some of them work, some of them don't. If you're going to do this, do it right. It's only respectful to your readers to make sure that the book is properly done. She wants lots of color images for this book. No, Ellie, that's not what ebooks are about. Let me tell you what will happen if you have lots of color images for this book. then that means that you need to do a fixed format ebook for the most part, which most people hate. And you will not be able to price this book at 99 cents or $1.99 or even $2.99. Lots and lots of color pictures means that the size of your ebook goes up dramatically, which means that sites like Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Kobo and Overdrive, which is owned by Kobo, all of these sites need to charge more money for the delivery fees. They charge by the byte, B-Y-T-E, by the size. And so the larger the size of your ebook, the more you're going to have to charge. Amazon won't even let you discount your ebook to 99 cents or $1.99 if it's, you can't make your ebook 99 cents if it's more than 3 megabytes. And you put a couple of color pictures in your book, you're going to go way above 3 megabytes. You'll be talking 15, 20, 30 megabytes or more. Not a good idea. So there you go. Don't relinquish control to Draft to Digital. Use Draft to Digital for distribution only. Create your own ebook. If you want to do a picture book, then save up the money and someday do a picture book. If you want to do a picture ebook, then understand that there's going to be a significant drop in the number of people who will be able to buy your book because the price will have to be too high. Maybe you want to do 2 editions, a fixed format 4-color edition, which will probably cost you a couple $100. Even if you go to India and use the cheapest person, you're probably talking about $150, $200 to get that created. Or you do a text only with a few black and white photos, low res, a few, couple, like count on one hand, and you can go back to the more reasonable price point. Well, Ellie, I'm going to look back on Zoom and see if you're chatting and asking me questions. It's so good to see you. I'm glad you're here. It's so good to see you. Oh, Pat is also chiming in that Sumi is wonderful to work with. And Shauna is saying that she's used Sundar and that he's fantastic. So there you go. Ebooks abound, guys. All right. How's everyone doing this morning? Maybe it's time for me to ask you a question. If you are joining me live on Facebook, I want you to please go to the comment bar right below and just say hi. I'd love to see who's listening on for the Free Advice Friday live on Facebook. And for those of you who are live on Zoom, run to the chat box and just let me know how you guys are doing this morning. It's a very cold, wintry morning here. I took about half an hour last night and I dragged in all of my pots and all of my plants, and I had started some vegetables on the deck, and they're all sitting in my dining room now. It looks like a greenhouse in my dining room because we're going to get snow this weekend. I can't believe it. In addition to the snow and having to drag plants in, I'm going to show you guys, hopefully you can see this on your camera, but in addition to all of that, I just got, and I'm supposed to be picking up my new motorcycle. I'm supposed to be picking this baby up this weekend, and I can't because it's snowing and it's 4 hours away, and I'm not going to drive through 4 hours of snow to pick up my pretty new bike. So I'm very disappointed. All right, let's see. Beth is asking if a picture book is published in a magazine or because she won a contest and they publish the book as part of the prize, does that impact my ability to sign with an agent or a publisher? Absolutely not, Beth, but it does impact your ability to get that book published. If you won a prize or if your book was highlighted in a magazine, you will get a much bigger and better chance of landing an agent or a publisher. But they're not going to buy the book that was already highlighted everywhere. You're going to have to show them new work, and more than one. It's good to have a portfolio with several options that you can bring to an agent. You only query one book at a time, but once you land the agent's going to want to know in the cover letter that you have several books that you can bring to them. That makes them very, very happy. Great question. All right. Ellie's saying, during the COVID time, is it normal for a retailer to be sold out of an ebook? Last I checked, Walmart is sold out of her ebook. That's weird. Ellie, I'm going to have to look into that because no, that is not normal. I can see the book being not available because perhaps your distributor has stopped doing business with Walmart. So maybe that's the case. All right. Let's see. Oh, Jean signed up for the webinar. That's wonderful. I can't wait to see you, Jean. Thank you. Again, Jane Friedman at janefriedman.com. We're doing a library webinar next week because there's so much changing. All right, let's see what is happening here. Sue Hunt, please drop your questions in the question box. I'm trying to answer them. I'm in order. I'm so sorry. I would love to, but right now I'm on Sonia's question. At what point in the publishing process do I start requesting celebrity blurbs? Can you still get blurbs after the book has been published? Sonia, you start requesting celebrity testimonials and their opinion as soon as it's written and really well edited. Don't send it before you get it through the edit. When you're about to send the book to your designer for layout, that's when you can start sending the Word document. Save it as a PDF, watermark it, but start sending out electronic copies, or even print a few bound 8.5 by 11 galleys and send those out. But I would send it out after it's been edited, but long before it's gone to layout. Because while it's going through layout, you can go through the process. That's when you start. And you stop asking for blurbs the day you die. So that's when that ends. Go all the way until your last gasping breath. And when you're sitting there and you inhale, I want your last word to be, "Can I get a testimonial?" And that's the timeline. All right, I'm being a little snarky because, hey, it's Friday morning and I'm in a mood. All right, Lynn has a question. Lynn has started shipping her books out with a 2 or 3 week delay. Unfortunately, the buy box on her webpage is badly designed and people click on the Kindle purchase instead. That's true. Amazon's doing that on purpose. They're trying to drive people so that they don't have to print or ship paper books. They're actively discouraging the book business right now. It's happening, guys. So make sure you're driving a lot of your promotion to bookshop.org, IndieBound. Whew. Yeah. She's getting returned ebooks because of this mistake. Yes, it happens. Now, just so you guys know, Lynn is the author of The Iodine Crisis. Now, Lynn's book, The Iodine Crisis, has been a bestseller for years. The woman has won numerous awards. She's gotten fantastic press. This is not a book it's not new. It's not Johnny come lately. She's not getting shafted because she's a self-published author. She is a traditionally published, well-published, beautifully published. I think Mile High Press and Judith Briles helped her book. And The Iodine Crisis has been around for, I'm going to guess, 10 years. I mean, Lynn, drop it in the chat if I'm way off base, but it is a perennial bestseller. And if her book sales are dropping off, and if Amazon is shipping them and messing with her buy button, then the rest of us don't have a shot in heck. But there are some things you can do. Lynn, I hope that this helps. There's a few things you can do. Number one, you can sign up right now for a Seller Central account. www.sellercentral.amazon.com. sellercentral.amazon.com. Sign up for a Seller Central account and claim The Iodine Crisis as your book and immediately start selling it yourself. You have 20, 30, 50 copies of your book in your house. Then what I want you to do is and then grab that buy button. Sell the paperback, sell the paper book at $2, $3 less than Amazon would, and offer people free shipping. Do what you can within reason, so you can still make some money. Offer people free shipping through Prime. You can do that if you're Seller Central. Offer them, a discounted version of your book. The buy button will very quickly become yours. And when people click the buy now button, the order will come directly to you, and you can then ship the book to them. Now, keep in mind, when you're a Seller Central, you have to sign certain agreements of behavior. You're not going to contact these people later. You're not going to, there's things that you can't do, but you can drop a little card in with the book saying that if they like your book, to sign up for your newsletter. If they like your book, perhaps they would be interested in writing a review online. Don't say Amazon, online. Or to get in touch with you, your email is blah, blah, blah. So there's lots of great benefits to being a Seller Central. member. Now, one of the downsides is you have to ship the books yourself. But if you're only selling 100 books a month and your sales have dropped down to 20 because of what Amazon's doing, I would suggest that getting those 20 books out in the mail yourself will make a huge difference. You get to keep all the profits. Amazon does not take the 40 to 60% that they do if you're KDP or any of those things. And you get control of the buy button. So that is a short answer. That's one of the things you can do. Joining Seller Central is a lot more complicated. Actually, if you go to my YouTube channel, I have a whole tutorial on it. That's youtube.com/Amy Collins, and then just go up to the search bar and type in Seller Central. You'll find it. Another thing that you can do on Amazon to get your sales back up is to make sure that your KDP account and your Ingram Spark account are all aligned to get your print book out there. If you're still printing books offset and they're being fulfilled by Amazon or by a third party, that's going to really delay your books. But if you also put your paperback up as a print on demand book through KDP just for this crisis, you're allowed, if you're the publisher or whoever your publisher is has to do it because they own your ISBN. But that's another way you can get around this until Amazon pulls its head out of its butt. Jacqueline is asking, after recording an audiobook, where do I go with it? Jacqueline, I don't know. I don't know if you mean how do you distribute it? Where do you go with it to get it edited? Did you have it produced? Did you have all of the audio files mixed, mastered, rendered down? Do you have intro and extra music? I don't know what you mean about recording an audiobook, but I would suggest that if you recorded it yourself, you want to go to Derek Depker's website. Here, I'll drop his name in the chat. He's got terrific resources there on what, his name is spelled a little funny, but I think I spelled it right there. Nope. It's Depker, Doepker. Derek Depker is a fantastic resource for audiobooks. Also, Find a Way Audio. And I just dropped that to Sue alone, not to everyone. So let me try that again. Derek Depker. Hi, Sue. How are you? And findawayaudio.com. Those are two resources. Let's say, and David is suggesting a little kickback to the iodine crisis. David is saying, don't forget that when you mail books to people, if you get a Seller Central account, don't forget media mail. It's a wonderful way to save money. Fantastic. All right. Barbara's asking, isn't there a way to have Amazon ship books? Yes, there used to be. It was called Fulfilled by Amazon, and they still do it. But that Fulfilled by Amazon is what's taking 2 or 3 weeks. You don't want to give, I'm talking about pulling on your fulfillment steps from your fulfillment away from Amazon and doing it yourself. You can go to Fulfilled by Amazon. FBA is absolutely still around, but you are going to take a big back seat to masks and to sponges and to disinfectants. Books are the last thing they're shipping right now. All right. I want to remind you guys that I am answering questions in the Q&A. Let's see. And I'm going back and forth. Oh, Tara is suggesting if I use Findaway Voices for audiobooks at all. I do. Tara, I love Findaway Voices. They are a sister company to Draft to Digital. I use the non-exclusive. Guys, I'm going to sneeze. 1 second, 1 moment. It's probably all those flowers I had to bring in from the deck. Excuse me. Findaway Voices is my #1 choice using non-exclusive distribution for audiobooks. I far prefer them to ACX because I'm very, very nervous about giving someone an exclusive. I want you guys to go broad. And while I love Amazon and I do a lot of work with Amazon, Amazon is not in your corner. They do not work for you. And Findaway Voices, if you hire them, they work for you. And I love that. All right. Shira is saying, my audiobook is being narrated by Tavia Gilbert. Wonderful. Bookfly is doing the cover. Terrific. Would love your help to launch her book. It's called Your Own Voices for Keywords and Press Release Library Launch. How do I hire you? Shira, unfortunately, you can hire us. We would love that. The name of the company that I work with, as you know, for marketing is called New Shelves Books. Newshelves.com. Newshelves.com. Carrie Barnum is who you want to talk to. And she's Keri. I'll drop her email in. She is we're about to announce, you guys are getting a little preview, that she is taking over New Shelves Books complete. She's going to be the new president. We're going to announce it in a couple weeks. I'm very excited. Newshelves.com. Carrie at newshelves.com. I just dropped her email into the chat. And if you email Carrie and tell her what you're looking for, she'll get back to you. We are closed down. We're in New York State, and we are on pause now until we open back up. And it looks like that we will be opening up by the end of May at the latest. So I do need to warn you that at the moment, we're not taking new clients because everyone is at home. We've got everyone furloughed until New York State opens back up. We are considered a phase 2. I don't know if you guys know, in New York, they're opening people back up starting the 15th of May, and they're going through 4 phases. And we are a phase 2 type company. And they're going to do it every 2 weeks. So we're looking at probably the end of May, but Carrie would be happy to chat with you before that. Let's see. Ellie, even if you make your ebooks, your images black and white, it's still going to be pretty heavy. So be very, very careful. Barbara, good morning. It's good to see you. All right, the next question is by Lene. Oh, good to see you. Good morning. Lene produced a print replica fixed format Kindle edition of Coral Reef Curiosities. I don't know if you guys know about Coral Reef Curiosities. It's gorgeous. Then she contacted Draft2Digital to turn into it other formats. They said that they distribute fixed format ebooks. Okay, Lene, I did see your email this morning, and I did email you and answer you. Let me just tell you guys what she's going through. Lene she hired someone to do an EPUB 3. An EPUB 3, there's also EPUB 3.5 as well, but EPUB 3 is the new version. It's a new version of EPUBs. It is very formatted. It is very visual heavy, but Draft2Digital is getting a lot of pushback because a number of the places that offer EPUBs, Nook and Overdrive and these places, they don't offer EPUB 3. Because, guys, again, EPUB 3, it's a new technology and it's very bite heavy, B-Y-T-E, very sizey. So, Lene, what you're going through right now is the same thing I was explaining to Ellie. Your book is too big for most of these folks. It's a gorgeous book, and Apple, I'm sure iBooks took it. Apple is all over EPUB 3, but the rest of the sites aren't quite up to it yet. And what I recommended in my email, and what I'm recommending to all of you, is to do more than one version of your ebook. Do an EPUB 3 or 3.5 if you need to, but also go back to E.2. But the ebook technology for fixed format 4-color books is not quite there yet, especially when it comes to distribution. They're getting there. Be patient. But spinning your wheels and spending your money getting your book in the newest edition of EPUB will frustrate you for at least the next 4 months, because a lot of these sites are not going to be ready to distribute EPUB. So I'm afraid at the moment your big option is to do a much smaller, less gorgeous version of your book just to get it out there, and keep the EPUB 3 to release as it becomes more and more welcome and more usable through the distribution models. You made the right choice. You're really early. You're an early adopter, and I'm afraid you're getting bitten a bit for that. Apple will take it, but you don't need to go to Draft2Digital. Apple will, as long as you have a Mac. If you don't have a Mac, then Apple, you need to go to Draft2Digital because they don't let you upload on a PC. Stephen is saying, how can I get cheap quality books printed in bulk? Cheap quality books, Stephen, you have to go overseas. They're not cheap domestically. They're not cheap in Canada. If you want really inexpensive but quality books, you have to go overseas. Are there any places to bid out for different printers from one bid? Yes, I've talked about Imago before. Imago is a print broker. They're based in New York City. Imago, I will drop Let's see. Imago. Let me look up their website for you real quick. Again, high quality versus, I mean, you can get a lot of cheap, low quality, but if you want inexpensive, high quality, Imago book printing. I use a wonderful woman there. It's imagousa.com. So let me get back to the chat box and drop that. There's the URL, imagousa.com. Tara, bless your heart. Tara's back on the ball for us. Tara, I got to tell you, when this is over, I am driving to your house and I am buying you anything you want, including your own pretty motorcycle. This is amazing. Thank you. So you can, Stephen, it's one-stop shopping. Imago's very inexpensive. They're a print broker. And they source out your quote to dozens of places around the globe. So that's who I'd recommend. Sonia's asking me to come riding in the Delaware Valley. I absolutely will. I'm going to spend most of the summer, guys, on the road. I've got a fantastic, very light 13, 14 ounce laptop, and it's coming with me, and I'm hitting the road this summer. All right. Sue has discovered Conversio.com, Convertio.com, a file converter that she wants to use to convert her PDF to eMobi, EPUB to sell from her website. Have any of you or anyone here heard of it? So I put out the questions to you guys. We have over 200 people watching right now, just over 200 people. I'm thrilled to see you all here. Oh, I just found out, Alexander, you're Sandy. How are you, Sandy? Sorry about that. I know who you are. I'm sorry I was calling you Alexander. Sue is curious if anyone has heard of Conversio.com, Convertio. If you have, please go to the chat box and let people know your experience with Conversio. I'm afraid I don't know them, but I love that she's asking. Sue says, I remember everything about Sue. She's selling the PDF version of her hybrid published book from her website, and probably the EPUB and Mobi as well are coming. Are these considered new books, and should I use my publishing company and ISBNs instead of theirs? They're not considered new books. They're editions of your old book, as long as it's the same book. Now, I don't know what your contract is with your company. Do they have the publishing and distribution rights to all formats? Or is it on a case-by-case basis? If you kept the ebook rights, then you should put a new ISBN under your own imprint. Use your own imprint, use your own imprint name. I'm sorry, I don't want to get it wrong. Use your own imprint name, get the ISBNs that are under that imprint name, put them on the EPUB, put them on the Mobi, and distribute them through Draft to Digital or on your own site. But not a lot of people are going to buy ebooks on your site. I mean, they really are they're much more comfortable going to Amazon. But you can put the ebooks up on your own if your contract says you can. Cheryl is asking, is there an advantage to using the same professional for cover and interior design? What a great question. The answer is it depends. And sometimes, quite often, you can get a discount if your designer is doing both. But that's a pro, and here comes the con. Very, very, very rarely is one human being, one designer, really good at designing interiors and good at designing covers. Now, I have one that I use. Her name is Gwen. Well, it used to be Gwen Kennedy. She recently got married. I don't remember her married name, but JKS Design. Gwen Kennedy, it was jksdesign.com is the name of her website. Gwen is good at both, but she is so rare and she's very expensive. She charges thousands of dollars, but she's amazing. And all the big houses use her and they love her. I use one designer for covers because I use different designers. I use Julia for fantasy and sci-fi covers. I use Mila for YA and fiction and romance. I use a guy named Frank for my nonfiction and my business and my how-to. Everyone has their expertise. For instance, most of you do not want to come to me and ask me about children's books. I frustrated a very lovely woman this week who kept asking me about her children's book. And finally, I almost yelled into the phone. I've repeated it 5 times. I don't know anything about kids' books. everyone has their expertise. So I would suggest that if you want the best cover, you go after the cover designer that really knows your genre. And if you want the best interior, focus on a typesetter. Focus on someone who understands interiors and who really knows what they're doing. Yes, there are financial advantages and time advantages to hiring a one-stop shop. So maybe if you hire a bigger company that has a whole bunch of employees that are all good at different things, that would be a great way to save time, but they're usually far more expensive, far more expensive. Linda's asking how you find a cover designer. Great question. Terrific question. Linda, the way I find cover designers, new cover designers, is when I'm on Amazon or when I'm walking through the bookstore or when I'm glimpsing through new books that are released or on bestseller lists. And if a cover really catches my eye, I go and Google it and find out who designed it. And then I go see if they're designing covers. So that's how I find new covers. For the self-published world, it's even easier. There are fantastic designers out there that really know their stuff. As I said, and I'm happy to give you names, but Mila at miladesigns.com. There's Julia Albee. I'll drop some links. If you guys go to the Free Advice Friday Facebook page in about an hour, I'll give you a whole list of resources. On my webpage, newshelves.com, there's that page, People We Like. I have a whole list of book designers I love. They're very inexpensive. Some are very inexpensive. But that's what I do. I'm always on the lookout for new covers. I really, really loved, I bought a book, a nonfiction self-help book, as opposed to a fiction self-help book. Okay, that was dumb. I bought a self-help book a couple weeks ago because clearly I need help. And as George Carlin says, if you bought a book, it's not self-help, that's help. But anyway, I loved the cover. And so I flipped through the copyright page and they didn't say who the cover designer was on the book. And it turns out it was designed in-house by a HarperCollins designer. But I found out who the designer was because it's listed on the HarperCollins website. So I emailed them and I asked them if they ever did any work on the side as a freelancer. And lo and behold, they do. So that's how I found that. Michael's asking how to print the chat page. Michael, Zoom, it has nothing to do with me. Zoom has forbidden, they have put, it used to be that you could save the chat and that you could cut and paste, but you can't anymore. Zoom, I'm afraid, because of too many people being naughty, has disabled the cut and paste and the print function in the chat button. But I can download most of these URLs, and I will today. If you go to facebook.com/groups/Free Advice Friday. So if you go to the Free Advice Friday page by about 3 o'clock today, every single one of these people will be mentioned with, and I'll drop their URLs in. I'm sorry the chat box does not tell you how. Vicky's asking how to watermark a PFD, and do I have a YouTube tutorial on it? Vicky, why don't I create one? Happy to, but let me give you the short version. You need a special piece of software to watermark a PDF. I use Adobe Acrobat, but that's somewhat pricey. I pay $14, $15 a month for Adobe Acrobat. What Adobe Acrobat does is allow me to break, edit, and watermark and use different techniques to change and alter PDFs. You can Google Adobe Acrobat alternates. I don't know, there's a lot of cheaper alternates out there. So I would recommend that if you don't want to pay $15, but the nice thing about Adobe Acrobat is you can use it for 1 month and then cancel. So I love Adobe Acrobat, and that's what I use. But there are other less expensive. So just go to Google and Google Adobe Acrobat alternatives, and make sure you can buy one and make sure that you can watermark. So what I do on Adobe Acrobat is I open up the PDF, I go down to the right side, I choose watermark. I click the watermark button, a box pops up. It says, what do you want to say? And I say, for review only. It says, do you want to angle it? I go, sure. So I angle it. And it says, do you want to make it bigger? I go, sure. And I make it bigger. And they say, oh, it's a little dark. Do you want to make it lighter? So then I fade it back a bit. Adobe Acrobat lets me do all that. I make it a real watermark, or I make it smaller and less intrusive. Or I watermark all over the page, do not sell, do not sell, do not sell. I do that and I think, okay, that looks good. And then I hit save. That's how I watermark. Bum, bum, bum. Denise is saying she always looks forward to Fridays. Congrats on the new Harley. Yes, it's great. I bought a deluxe. I'm so excited. Denise is saying that she believes that Ingram Spark is now more expensive to print hardback. It's true. They had to raise their prices because of binding. Because they do a lot of their binding in-house, but not all of it, and the binding costs have gone way up. She tried to upload a children's book, priced it at $18.99 with a 55% discount, and the profit is now -1 penny. And it used to be, Sonia, I bet you it used to be about 36 cents. 36 cents to 42 cents profit. And now she has to price her book at $22, $23 just to make just a few pennies. And that seems a little high. Denise, you're absolutely right, and you're not alone. Children's books, and I've said this before, 4-color cookbooks, children's books, 4-color, even 4-color, paperbacks in particular. Ingram Spark and print on, and not just Ingram Spark, print on demand is not there yet. The pricing isn't right. It's not going to work. And it used to be that it worked for hardcover, but that has changed right now. And Ingram Spark has had to raise some of their hardcover pricing because of binding. It may be temporary. I don't know. But Denise, your best bet is to go get, some funding together, not alone, nobody. I want you guys to look me right here. I don't want anyone digging into their savings or their retirement for the book world. We're not worth it. No, but if you can get a little extra side cash and print 500 copies or 1,000 copies digitally, you'll make a lot more money in the end, especially through Amazon if you sign up for Seller Central. I wish print on demand worked better. I'm so sorry. Tara's asking if I use ACX, which is an Amazon company, as well as Findaway Voices. Sometimes. Tara, you can't get away from Amazon. You absolutely have to. But the only way that ACX really makes sense is if you record the ebook yourself, produce it yourself, get it mixed, mastered, get the music in, make sure everything is compressed. I mean, the production quality has to be good. ACX will do that for you, but if you use their services, for the most part, they will either take almost all your profits or they'll require a huge 7-year exclusive contract where you can only do it through ACX and through Audible. And I hate that. So if you're going to produce your own audiobook, then yes, you can upload to ACX and not choose exclusive. That's okay. And then use Findaway Voices in addition. I do the same thing with ebooks. I use KDP for ebooks, and I also use Draft to Digital. So that is my suggestion. All right. Okay, Lene said she doesn't know if I want to mention this, but hey, I'll try everything. You guys are so helpful to each other. She selected all the text in the chat box. She hit Control-C, she copied it, and was able to paste it into a page in Evernote. It seems to be the only current content of the box, so you have to keep up with it. So you're not allowed to go further back. But you can also do screenshots, guys. I know that you can open up the chat as big as you can. You can move chat. Here, let me share my screen real quick. Let's see if we can do this. Because a lot of you guys thought you were the only one, and you're not. You're absolutely not the only one. So let me share my screen for a moment. Let's play, shall we? Let me look at the chat. And look at that. I can make the chat huge. All right. Paul can copy and paste into a Gmail. So here's the thing, guys. Apparently you can cut and paste into certain programs and not others. But you can also do a screenshot right now of the chat. But if you want to, like if I want to take imagousa.com and hit Control and then open up. Yeah, see, it's not letting me paste it. All right, well, that stinks. I'm sorry, guys. Let me go back to the world. You guys are amazing. So Paul can copy and paste into a Gmail draft. Some of you guys can do it into Evernote. So there you go. Carolyn is asking about Seller Central, and doesn't it cost a monthly fee? Sometimes. Carolyn, you have two choices. You can either pay a monthly fee. I believe it's $40 minimum. May have gone up, but the last time I looked, it was $40 a month. Or you can choose not to pay the monthly fee, and they will take 99 cents per unit. That's a pretty good deal. Now, if you're selling 200 books a month consistently through Seller Central, then don't take the one at a time 99-cent deal. Sign up for the $40 a month. But you can sign up for Seller Central to start and just do it a pay as you go. Terry's asking if readers are still buying hardcover, and if so, which genres are purchased most in hardcover. I am so glad you asked, because the Book Industry Study Group just came out with their 2019 report on this. Hardcover books are most likely purchased as cookbooks, entertainment books, so books on design and gardening and things that are going to be brought out over and over again and used. Children's books, definitely in hardcover. If you've written a memoir about your grandmother's time in Poland, or if you've written a novel, for the most part, stay away from hardcover. They're not spending that kind of money. And there's a number of business owners out there who believe that everyone wants to buy a hardcover. And that's true if they own a time machine and can go back to 2003. All the big CEOs did want a hardcover, and maybe a small percentage of them do now. So make a hardcover for your business, prescriptive leadership, how-to parable book. Make a hardcover edition available, but don't bet the bank on it. If you prefer hardcover, that's great, but take a look at the numbers. Go to the Book Industry Study Group, BISG.org, and take a look at how many hardcovers are really selling right now. You'll be pretty surprised. Let's see. All right, guys, keep checking out the chat. You guys are helping each other like crazy. All right. Jim, guys, go to the chat box. Jim and Linda and Benita are all recommending cover designers they love. I love that you guys are helping each other out. Barbara's asking, okay, we already answered that question. April's saying, what's the best way to upload to Apple Books without a Mac? There is no way, April. You can hire someone who has a Mac. You can go buy a Mac, or you can use Draft to Digital because they do it for you. But if you don't have a Mac, you're not going to be, that's just their requirement. They're absolutely, I've not found a way around it. If anyone else has, I absolutely love it. Jot it into the chat. But I believe, I'm pretty confident about Amazon's rules because I've tried to do it recently. Annette wants to know if I know, does Kobo plan to distribute audiobooks directly to libraries in the near future? She emailed them to enable audiobooks on her Kobo dashboard and received a notice saying they're not accepting audiobooks at this time. Will they distribute to libraries through Findaway Voices? Okay, Kobo owns Overdrive. And I did not know that they were no longer accepting audiobooks. So what's going to happen, Annette, I'm so sorry. I'm going to look into this week, and I promise I will answer. But the answer right now is I don't know. This is new news to me. Kobo, which owns Overdrive, did accept audiobooks somewhat recently. And if they're not accepting them now, I need to find out why. I will find out. I will dig into it. I will get you an answer. But yes, you can still go through Findaway Voices to get into Overdrive, which is owned by Kobo up until now. Bonita's asking the best size for a nonfiction mindset book in paperback. I don't know for sure, Bonita, but I'm guessing 8 by 5 1/4 or 5 1/4 by 8 at the moment. Every quarter, if you go to my blog, every 3 months, I go look up all of the best-selling books by genre, and I update a blog that I've written called Why My Book Can't Be 6 by 9. It's gotten me in a lot of trouble. People are very grumpy that I don't like 6 by 9, but it's not just me. Bookstores don't like them either. I am guessing for a nonfiction book on mindset, depending on how many words it is, that you're very, very safe with 5 1/4 by 8. If there are tons of words, if it's 100,000 words or more, go 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. That would be, guys, I'm not shooting from the hip. I know Benita, I know her book. We've chatted, so I feel somewhat confident with that. Wendy is saying she's been testing sales of her covers to see which one sells the best. Her last cover's been up since April. With COVID-19, does that mean she can't get a good reading to compare sales? That's exactly what it means, Wendy. If you want to test the sale, if you want to test the saleability of your cover, I would print off a couple of different covers and get a hold of some local booksellers and librarians and ask them which covers they prefer right now. But doing A/B testing right now is a little dicey. It's not useless, but you're not going to get the same sort of depth of response that you got in January. All right, I think we may have answered all the questions, but I started late, and I promised Sandy, not Alexander, Sandy, that I would stay late after class because I was so late. Oh, Jim, thank you guys. Go to the chat. Jim dropped in a fabulous resource. Readsy, whom I love, they've got a list of free ebook. They've got an ebook and PDF book formatter article at Readsy called readsy.com/write-a-book. Jim, what a great resource. Next week, guys, we have Erica McIntyre, who is the most recently the editor-in-chief of Writer's Digest magazine, is going to be joining me on Free Advice Friday. We're also going to have Terry Evanson, one of my author buddies, who has done some amazing research. She and I started talking together a week or so ago, and she was curious about her cover. And I yelled at her, sorry, Terry, but Terry and I chatted, and she went out. I showed her how to do cover research and how to do comp title research. And she came back within 2 or 3 days with the most amazing cover research, a spreadsheet. She had screenshots, and I asked her to join me next week for a few minutes so I could show you guys the work she did. Wait till you guys see her work. It's absolutely amazing. And she has very generously agreed to share her spreadsheet and her procedure with you. So she's going to go for, literally 2 weeks ago, she had no idea how to do comp title research, to now she's an expert at it and somebody that I want to help teach you. So we are all, Erica McIntyre, Terry Evanson, and I will all be here next Friday on Free Advice Friday. I believe I got to everyone's questions. I am so thrilled to see you here every week. So next week I will be here. The week after it'll be Carrie. And I look forward to seeing you every Friday here on Free Advice Friday.